The content, views, and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the City of Bremerton, BCAT, their officials, or their employees.
Hey Bremerton and Kitsap, welcome to Trash Talk. My name's Reama. Every episode we have a chat with a local expert and talk about all things waste and waste reduction. Come on a journey with me as we learn some things and find some good questions to chase down together. As we head toward the end of the year, many of us share gifts with loved ones, wondering how can we enjoy that tradition without creating more waste and plastic. Today's guest will share her ideas, tips, and tricks for a low-consumption holiday season. Mary Phelps is a steward at People's Exchange, a community center and third place in the Charleston neighborhood of Bremerton. Mary completed a 9-month-long zero waste challenge in 2018 and trained other households after that, so she knows all about anti-consumption. Mary, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Reama.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
So can you talk about what you did in 2018?
Yeah, so 2018 I was working for a grocery co-op in Minnesota. That was prior to moving here, where I trained 350 staff how to do proper waste management for all of the waste that was coming out of that building. Actually out of 3 buildings, so it was a lot of waste. During that time, I really dove deeply into waste management and what happens to our stuff. And around that same time, I signed up for Hennepin County's Zero Waste Challenge. So this was a program put on by the county that was a 9-month intensive. Different households participated. I think in the first year it was like 40 households that participated that got one-on-one coaching with Hennepin County staff.
Wow.
We did like classes, workshops, we toured grocery stores, they toured my home, we did a waste audit, we tracked and weighed all of our waste in the beginning of the challenge and the end of the challenge. So it was 9 months, and the reason that it was 9 months is because it takes roughly like 3 months to set a new habit, and that's really about what the program was. It wasn't just about changing what you're buying, but changing behaviors. And that's what I'm really motivated by. So when we started the challenge, the average person generates 4 pounds of waste a day.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Wow, 4 pounds is a lot.
4 pounds a day. So when it comes to a household, I'm a household of 2. We started with about 2.5 pounds of waste a day. By the end of the challenge, we were down to 0.5 pounds of trash a day.
Wow.
And then we had like an 86% waste diversion. So waste diversion means things that are not going in the landfill. That means you're composting it, you're recycling it, you're using it, or finding other means rather than just throwing it away.
What kind of things were you able to divert? Like, what was the changes that you were able to make?
I mean, food waste is a big one.
Sure.
So keeping food out of your trash container makes a really big difference. So that was when we started avidly composting at home. In Minneapolis, there was a great composting collection, so it was easy to kind of throw it in the bin, which Bremerton has that option. Preventing waste from coming into the house, so it really changed our habits around what kind of things we were buying in groceries and how they were packaged, whether I could buy more in bulk or if I could buy glass instead of plastic, really getting rid of like trash packaging from our daily lives. That was a big one. Getting rid of that plastic film that is so prevalent in our food system is a lot of what ended up being in our trash. It was really interesting to look very closely at what is in your bin and how you can prevent that.
And it's about a mindset change, like
you
were saying.
Yeah, it's a behavioral change for sure.
Right. The coaching, were they able to guide you through that process? Because I imagine that would speed it up, but an average person going on this journey by themselves might take more than 3 or 4 months to make such a drastic change.
Definitely. I mean, we had the opportunity to talk to people that had a lot of ideas and bring a lot of solutions to the table. After we completed the challenge, I actually ended up coaching the families for the next couple of years. And through that, it's just kind of working out, what do you do with pet waste? I mean, that's that's hard.
Yeah.
What do you do with,
What do you do?
I mean, pet waste is a real challenge, or with children and time and convenience.
Yes.
You know, it's always a balance. So, I mean, a part of that program was really finding out what things could work with your own lifestyle, and that's not the same as other people. So being able to talk about it in a hive mind of getting these like different ideas here and there, and being able to pick and choose which ones apply to you or which ones speak more to your values, was really helpful to have that community that already built into that process as we were learning.
Sure. And what behaviors do you think came out of that for you? I mean, besides the reducing your weighed trash, which is 4 pounds change every day. That's incredible.
That's a lot.
What other kinds of behaviors did you?
Yeah, I think during this process around reducing consumption really became kind of a values piece for us in our household. Really thinking about what we're buying. I don't want to buy packaging anymore. You know, I don't want to give my dollars that way.
Right.
So changing those ways and really focusing on buying things locally, buying things from direct individuals, from local artists, from local stores, rather than sending money away to big boxes that have had this intensive processing, packaging, shipping, all of these things. So it was about more than just the packaging, but also the route of the items to me. So I got very invested in the local community and what we can do there. Along that time too, I just got really into preserving food and cooking with scraps and all of these other things. So really integrating it into multifacets. It's not just about how I'm shopping. It's
Right.
also about how I'm cooking. It's also about what I do when the washer breaks. So integrating things like repair and buying used. So around that time, I made the commitment that I was no longer going to buy new clothing. So it is an exception if I ever buy new clothing at this point. I always buy used clothing. I teach people how to mend their clothing. It really created a lot of new habits for us in general that have evolved over time. So that, you know, kind of started 2016, 2017. And now it's, 8 years in and it's really changed the way that I show up in the world, both in my values and how I consume. So when you asked me to do this, and I was like, but I'm an anti-consumer. I don't consume. Don't ask me about holiday. But I'm happy to talk about it, and I love having that conversation.
I think a lot of people are becoming more aware and want to be intentional about the things that they bring into their home, because like you said, it's about packaging and considering that you are buying the packaging along with the product and those kinds of things. So I'm glad that you're here so you can talk about it, because I see a shift happening in conversations that I have with people.
Yeah, there is a shift, and I think right now people are so afraid and anxious of the climate crisis that it can also be paralyzing.
Yes.
I think people want a black and white rule to follow. What is the good thing? What is the right material? And it really is more gray than that.
Yeah.
So when I talk to families or people about reducing waste, I really talk about it. It is what aligns with your values. It's what you can integrate into your life. It's what makes sense in your schedule. It is what works for you.
Sure.
And lead with your values first, because it can be really overwhelming to try to do the right thing all of the time. And a lot of times when we're talking about environmental impact, there is no right thing.
Yes.
There is no better material. It just kind of shifts your impact.
It all ends up in the landfill eventually.
Yeah, but also there's impacts with paper and there's different impacts with plastic. So you can't equate them and say one is better than the other, really, in some ways.
Right.
It's just kind of shifting. It's shifting the materials that are being extracted. It's shifting the way that it's being transported. It's shifting, there's different types of impacts that are happening there, different carbon footprints, different emissions, all of these things. So it's hard to pick best.
Right.
What you can do is, what I've kind of moved into is trying to avoid all of it, which is way too ambitious, and I'm not suggesting it. I always tell people...
It is a lofty goal.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, this is not a to-do list, because what works for me will look very different than what will work for your family.
Right.
And even in my own journey, in Minneapolis, it was way easier to be, I was definitely more rigid because it was easier to be rigid. Here, out in a rural area with not a lot of resources, not a lot of support to make those choices easy.
Right.
I have a very different approach to what makes sense in my life right now.
Sure. And I think the word sustainable applies to our choices, but it also applies to integrating those things into our lifestyle.
Right. Can we continue them?
Right, exactly.
Right. Yeah, so I often tell people set goals, not rules, because if you make it too rigid and you try to do too much, especially too soon, again, it takes 3 months to create a habit. So very slowly integrating those things, making it sustainable for your life, where it can be a pattern where it's easy to integrate, is oftentimes more successful. Because if you take it too far too soon, you're likely going to burn out.
Yep.
You're not going to feel successful. You're going to feel like you're failing, that you're not
What's
doing
the point
thing
anyway?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a rigid mindset, then there's so many more opportunities to fail than having a goal. I like what you said about that. Yeah. Having a goal, not a rule. So let's talk about the holiday. How do you manage gifting at the end of the year, holiday season?
Yeah, so that was a hard one for my family, because I grew up and we would just have like 50 presents under the tree, and it's, we're a family of 5, and now we all have partners and stuff, but we're all like, we just spent hours opening presents, watching each other open. It was a big show.
Yes.
And we loved that big show. And like even into our 30s and 40s, like still we're like, we have to have a million presents to open.
Yes.
And so in the last few years, I've really been like working with my family with like, how can we do this but less? Like, we don't need to buy presents for each and every one of us. We don't need, especially like,
who can afford it?
Who can afford it? But also, like, I know what I need and I know what I want. And, like...
A lot of that stuff I don't even want. No offense to my family.
I know, it happens. It happens. And then it's like, how are you honoring those things, too? When it's like,
and the sacrifice that the person made, then I don't feel like I can really offer true gratitude, because now I have a chore of something to get rid of, so... Yeah.
But some people's love language is gifting.
Yes.
So we have to give them that.
Mm-hmm.
So with my family, it was more about the spectacle, the event, the activity.
Right.
So what we have kind of come up with in these last couple of years is we moved to a white elephant structure.
Okay.
Are you familiar with white elephant?
I am.
It's kind of a gift exchange.
Yes.
So how we do it is everybody buys 2 presents. And those go into the circle. So then we do opening one at a time, and we do steals and stuff. So, So the game of it keeps it to be that like great 3-hour-long process that we all enjoy so much.
Yes, and it is interactive
between each other.
Yes.
And then also we're gifting in a different way in terms of thinking of something that multiple people will like.
Right.
So just really focusing on what would be a great gift rather than just buying to satisfy gifting or the requirement of gifting.
Sure.
So that's been a great change to buy a lot less. So that's kind of how I've managed it in that circle. But there are a lot of other ideas too. So a couple might be buy used.
Sure.
You can buy from your local stores. A lot of bookstores have used sections. You can buy art supplies from Spread Supplies. There are a lot of opportunities to buy used, and if it feels, like it's not shiny enough and new, like maybe that means building a kit.
Right.
Making it cute. Get a basket to go with it.
Make it cute.
So that's an option if you really want to go out and buy. The other things I think about holidays is decorations.
Decorations.
Always like to buy and refresh the display, right? So what about before the holidays? you maybe get together with friends or family or even a work party. What if you do a decoration exchange?
That's a great idea.
Clean out your closet, refresh your space.
That's a great. We all want
a big
something.
swap. We always
little,
want something
yeah.
a little new, and those things a lot of times they're not really made to like last.
They're not. They used to be when we made them ourselves.
Sure.
In probably a circle party with friends.
Right, where it was more community based.
Right. And then when I have a wreath that I made in a circle in community, and when I hang that, it feels different. It feels emotional, and I'm connected to that experience because I made it with my friends. And I think I always come back to how can we feel connected to our objects. And Caitlin in the last trash talk called them belongings. Right. And I think connecting back to our stuff in that way is a way to reduce waste.
And connecting our stuff to the story of how that get made. Right. Because that's also taking, there's pieces of the world and environment in there. There's pieces and there's people along the way that created those items too. Right. So honoring those resources, those people, that transition, that journey that thing made to you is a big one.
Right.
And then I think about post-holidays, do a gift exchange of the stuff that you didn't want. Like, honor the things that you don't like.
Big trend is
seriously.
white elephant gift exchange.
Yes, absolutely. You ended up with a couple things you don't like. Get together with friends, share and swap them. The best way to honor those things, even though it's not your taste, is to get it into the hands of someone that will use it.
Yes.
So swap out those things. Don't let them sit in your closet hidden. Right.
Right.
Or like hold on for that one time, maybe I'll use it. No, just get it used.
Right. Just let it go, because I find that when I actually do need something, somehow it is in my secondhand network all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
Things just show up exactly when I need them.
The universe will provide. Yeah, it's for sure.
It's been really interesting to see how often that happens, which only reinforces the magic of it happening. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel, again, more connected to my stuff because I really found it. It feels like a treasure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my other advice is to be intentional with those dollars if you are spending. Keep it local, keep it directly to artists, in person if you can.
I always say shop in person, not in pixel.
There you go.
Please come in and touch things, feel things, know the quality of the things that you're going to buy, which you can assess in person by using your senses. Yeah.
And if you end up with things, we haven't given money to Jeff Bezos in 8 years at my house.
Congratulations.
And that is hard behavioral change. That's a very hard behavioral change. There are alternatives.
Sure.
But gift giving or gift receiving, what happens when you end up with the Amazon gift card? So my solution to that, when I do get those kinds of gifts that are like maybe behind a company that I wouldn't normally support or something like that, I try to pay it forward. So with that Amazon gift card, I bought hand warmers to distribute.
Okay.
So those kinds of things. If you end up with things that you're like, it's not where my dollar would want to go normally. There's ways to kind of get that and turn that story around.
Yeah, I really appreciate that idea because we all have gift cards that we're not going to use for one reason or another. Yeah. And being able to put them back into use rather than just them sitting in my key bowl, which is where they all live.
Yeah. Well, mine too, actually, the key bowl.
The key bowl is the spot
that's where I put
gift
mine
cards.
too.
This was all great information. Can you tell people how they can get involved with more anti-consumer behavior?
Yeah, absolutely. So People's Exchange regularly hosts events that can easily plug you into trading clothing. Mm-hmm. We have community closets on a monthly basis, repairing your things. I do a mending meetup every month, teaching people how to repair their clothing.
So great.
We regularly do, even for the holidays, we usually do a pre-loved gift sale so people can come and shop for free and also benefit People's Exchange.
And those things are secondhand or donated?
Those are all secondhand or donated. Sometimes the artists will give us jewelry or homemade things to include in that sale.
Okay.
So both made with love and also pre-loved used items.
Love that.
So those are great opportunities to connect, find used things, trade used things, and learn some new skills.
And they can find info on the website and also social media for People's Exchange?
Yep, absolutely.
Great. Well, thanks for the conversation, Mary. It was really great to talk to you.
You too.
Mary gave us some new ways to think about avoiding consumption and great ideas that will make it easier to achieve our waste reduction goals. Reducing waste is a game of small changes over time. Maybe this year will be your first year with this mindset, and that's perfectly fine. We all have a day one. Be sure you follow BCAT for updates on this and other great shows about your community. We'll see you next time, Bremerton and